welcome along to Fujitsu World Tour London, where the theme for this year's event is driving a trusted future. It's a bit of concern and a few questions to be answered, isn't there? We're rapidly trying to deliver digital transformation, but how do we prove value back to the business when doing so? How do we keep our employees happy, our customers? How do we provide value for society at large? A lot of questions around that. And in a world where we're delivering new ecosystems, new solutions, new technologies, it makes those questions even harder to answer. Well, we've got your back. This year at Fujitsu World Tour, we're going to help you identify the right mix of partners, technology, solutions and services that you need to answer your technology issues that are being faced today. Now, next, we're going to talk about how you future-proof your infrastructure. It's a big topic for the boardrooms, isn't it? A bit cost burden to be borne when you're making a move to cloud, for example, but how do we make sure we safeguard our infrastructure for the future? Well, hopefully, to answer that and a whole lot more, I'm joined by Usman Chaudhry, Solution Consultant from the CTO team here at Fujitsu, David Turner, Strategist and IT Enterprise from Nutanix. Thank you both for stopping by. I'm keen to get both of your opinions on this, but we come to you first, Usman. How do we future-proof? I mean, any CEO, when they're signing off that big investment along with the CFO, this has surely got to be the first question they're asking, right?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. It's the right question to ask. And thankfully, it's becoming a lot easier now than it was perhaps 6 to 10 years ago. And the reason for that is because there's a number of things happening. So products historically used to be based on proprietary software. So features and functionality of IT that was ingrained and inbuilt within a product. Now we've reached a point and an age where there's open standards and there's the decoupling of software from hardware, which essentially means that the software is no longer dependent on the underlying hardware. So organizations such as Nutanix, for example, have created software that can be run on any standard x86 platform. And that's really the key. Make sure you're on an open standards-based infrastructure technology that allows that.
Is it the same looking through the lens of Nutanix? Are you seeing the same challenge being answered?
Yeah, I think one of the things is we're seeing a shift in organizations trying to shorten down the purchase cycle. So traditionally we'll have seen kind of a 5-6 year investment made in technology. That obviously commits you to a certain direction for a fairly long period of time. And what we want to be able to support organizations in doing is having a more fractional consumption type model. So a more cloud-like experience that they'll have in terms of pay for use, but bringing that benefit back into the data center, and software being able to sit over hardware that can move in and out of the environment over time just protects a large portion of the IT budget, so really kind of future-proofing where they're going.
What do we think needs to change in product strategy to allow organizations to be digital ready? What do we think?
So, I mean, at the moment, what we're seeing from organisations such as Fujitsu is a massive drive towards digital transformation. That's absolutely key. It's an exercise which needs to be done for a number of reasons. Organisations which have failed to carry out digital transformation projects have ultimately failed as organisations, and many have gone into administration and gone out of business. So it's absolutely key that it needs to be done. But what digital transformation does, it doesn't just look at technology alone. It's about business process re-engineering, looking at your culture as an organization, the business objectives that you're looking to achieve, and how technology can be leveraged to help drive your business to be competitively ahead from the competition, as well as be in a position where it's future-proofed and it's miles ahead of the others.
Do you think boardrooms and technology are aligning to deliver those answers, or is there still work to be done to kind of unite the two entities?
I think it's an ongoing process. Some organisations are clearly really, in their route to market, the technology and the business are kind of absolutely in lockstep. And that's the real challenge I think that organisations need to look at, is how do they bring the people and the culture and everything else along for that journey, because the IT team being separate, remote, building its own functions, it can miss a trick. And it's important to get, key stakeholder buy-in to these things that come from the top. There's a very stated objective that we're going to work jointly in delivering on these initiatives. And where that happens, we see some really fantastic things.
I'm going to hit you with another big question. Cloud journey. What's the best way to leverage your cloud journey? There's a lot of people that are still only getting to grips with cloud, let alone multi-cloud.
There is, and there's a lot of big customers which have unfortunately gone out there and made a lot of mistakes around their journey to the cloud. The best place to start is with your applications. Look at your workloads. Do a triage of the applications. Understand which applications can, number one, easily be migrated to the cloud or be migrated at all. And that's really dependent on the architecture of that application. Some can be migrated. Others, which may be 10, 15 years old and legacy applications, it's near enough impossible to be able to remap them, re-architect them for the cloud. So that's never going to happen. So that's the first part, do that triage. Secondly, look at it from a cost perspective. There's some applications which are steady, which will never see a spike in demand or activity. Those applications from a cost perspective are best kept on-premise, using a private cloud infrastructure, for example. Applications which will have peaks and troughs around demand, they're best suited to the cloud. Not only from a cost perspective, but from a perspective of being able to fulfill the underlying infrastructure requirements of that application or that workload within a speedy kind of a time.
I'm interested to talk about boardrooms of customers, boardrooms of potential customers. What do we think their biggest challenge is right now, Dave?
For me, it's all about agility and customer relevance. So if you can create a great connection to your customer, leveraging technology, then you'll be at a significant market advantage. And that's where we see the different kind of design points coming through. And most organizations we talk to, hybrid cloud is probably the destination they want to get to. Over 90% of organizations seems to want that as the ideal model, but only 18% have deployed it. So bridging that gap is really where we want to be able to focus. And again, getting back to that, customer relevance, aligning it to the business, that's the real challenge that, together with our partners Fujitsu, we're going to the boardrooms to kind of talk through.
Staying with the boardroom, we're going to ask you both the same question. It's a question we always end our interviews on. If you had one message for the CEOs, COOs watching this, what would it be?
Partner with the experts around technology and look to leverage technology as much as you can to achieve your business objectives. Failure to do so could cost the organisation its existence, so it's extremely important.
What do you think, Dave?
Customer journey mapping. I think that's the critical thing. Where are the gaps? Where are the hotspots? How can you win using technology to bridge those gaps?
Fascinating stuff. Thank you both for joining us. Lots of insight for you there. Dare say there's a few questions. It's possibly piqued your interest. If you'd like to hear more from Usman or Dave, do drop us a line on social. We'll be sure to facilitate an introduction. There is plenty more insight to come from Fujitsu World Tour. There's the breakout sessions going on behind us. A keynote's about to start. It's all come alive here. By the time we finish at Fujitsu World Tour, we'd have brought you interviews across AI, blockchain, quantum security, multi-cloud innovation, operational excellence, workplace, a trusted future, retail, connected world, public sector, transport, automation and financial services, no less. All you need to do is go onto social, put in the keyword relevant to your industry or the topic that's just piqued your interest. There's plenty of insight answering those challenges your boardroom is facing today, and that's the purpose of these interviews. We want to help you. Thanks for watching.